Hello, Starshine. This is Smadar from Song of Stones, and I am a crystal whisperer, which means I talk to stones and they talk to me. And copper, the beautiful crystal you're seeing in front of you, has been singing for all of us. It's been sharing some beautiful messages. And it's also our 2025 year stone for Song of Stones, along with Emerald. And I've been discovering the incredible connection between copper and emerald. And we explored emerald in the last couple of weeks, and we started to delve into copper, and today I wanted to go a little bit deeper with copper. Both crystals shared beautiful messages that have been shared in the light log post on the website, as well as in our Sunday Sparkle newsletter. And part 2 of Copper's message is going out in today's Sunday Sparkle newsletter. So you can look out for that. But what I wanted to talk about first is generally with crystals, how as much as we think that we know them, there's always more to discover. And copper has been... I've been journeying with copper for many, many, many years. It's been one of my very close companions. And, I thought I knew a lot about copper. And I do have a very intimate connection with copper. But I have been, I've opened my heart to discovering even more about copper, it being our year stone. And at the mid-year checkpoint, I am discovering even more about this amazing crystal, besides even what it's been sharing with us through its songs, its messages. So one of the things I discovered is that it's known as the eternal metal, which I found was interesting, and it's known by that because of its 100% recyclability. Copper can be recycled over and over and over again, and it is, and it has been, and it will be. It's a very important metal for us on so many levels. There's a whole list of the ways that we depend on copper. One of which is in our own bodies. We need copper. It's one of the 9, I believe it, if I'm remembering right, if it's one of the 9 essential minerals to human bodies. And the other thing that I discovered was that it's out in space, and we sent it out there. We sent 2 copper records with messages out into space, gold-plated, but copper. And I thought that's pretty cool that copper is out there communicating with whoever is going to find it. Also gives us an insight into how copper can help us on the metaphysical level, as a bridge, as a way to communicate, to send messages, to receive messages. And copper's been around for thousands and thousands of years, and I discovered that that we have discovered an ancient mummy, a 10,000-year-old mummy. If I'm pronouncing, I'm sure I'm not going to pronounce it right, but I think his name is Otzi. And they found him with a hammer that was made out of almost pure copper. So copper's been with us we've been connecting with copper for thousands and thousands of years, for, again, many different reasons. But one of the things that I was most intrigued about is the fact that copper is so recyclable, and it just reminded me about how our own spiritual cycles, about reincarnation, about how we do very much the same thing. Is, we live our lives in our current human form, and then we go on to live again in a different version. It might be human again. Perhaps it's something else. But we also have this eternal part of ourselves, this never-ending story that continues even beyond whatever lifetime we happen to be living. It's pretty amazing. And then I just also want to draw attention to its form. This is natural copper. Last time I showed you some polished copper, but this one is natural, and it grows in these beautiful crystalline forms that spiral and curve. They could remind me a little bit of vines, the way that they grow and curl. And the different thicknesses you can see here. Each of these pieces has a different bit of a thickness, and I chose these partly to demonstrate that one in the top corner is quite thick. And copper also has this sharpness to it. So even when I put down the large piece of copper and lifted it up to take a picture of it, it caught, because of the sharp edges, the many, many sharp edges. It caught on the fabric and pulled on it a little bit. Let's see if I can show you. You can see how it left a piece of itself too. A few pieces. 3 pieces in a triangle, kind of like the way I set these guys up. That's interesting. And the other ones are a little smoother, less sharp, but the shapes are fascinating, the way that it grows naturally. And you could see what I believe is possibly Datalite on some of these crystals, some of the copper. And we talked about Datalite and copper last week, and I invite you to pop over and check that out if you haven't seen that yet. Because it's so interesting how the connection between Datalite and copper, and how I made that connection without even knowing. Anyways, that's a whole other story, and we already went through that, and I won't repeat that for those of, but if you haven't seen it, it's in last week's video. All right, so there's so much more about copper. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an insight into what I've discovered about copper, and also to remind you when you're working with the stone beings that as much as you think you know, there's always more to discover. And when we open our hearts to receiving, to learning more about the crystals, we'll always find that there's more to discover. And there's also so much fun to be around. They're so beautiful. I'm a little distracted by the copper, to be honest. I'm a little mesmerized by it. There was something else I wanted to share about copper. I know I'm closing out, but there is one last thing that I wanted to draw attention to, and that's copper's strength. And if you're looking to connect with your own inner strength, copper is a beautiful ally. And I will leave you with that, and I will invite you to join us to pop over to the website to take a look at today's blog post, because I'm going to be talking more about the things that I've discovered about copper. And I also invite you, if you're not already part of our community, to sign up for our Sunday Sparkle newsletter. There's always more about the crystals there, and there's also exclusive messages that are shared only with our community, and invitations to live events. And that's all I wanted to share with you today. Have an amazing, magical, beautiful rest of your day, and we will see you soon.